They say mirrors are harmless. Just glass. A reflection. A backwards copy of what you already know. But I know better now. Because the thing I saw in my grandfather's mirror wasn't just a reflection. It was watching me. Smiling when I wasn't. Mimicking me when I moved, whispering when I slept. And then, it wanted more. It started the first week I moved into his house. I'd inherited the place after he died, an old Victorian home he hadn't touched since the 70s. The wallpaper was peeling, the pipes screamed every time I flushed, and the entire second floor smelled like mothballs and mold. Still, I was broke, and the market was decent. I figured I'd clean it up and flip it. The mirror was in the upstairs hallway. I remember seeing it for the first time, tall, about 7 feet, framed in this bizarre dark wood carved with twisted, shrieking faces that looked like they belonged in some kind of medieval church. It leaned against the wall at the end of the hallway, just across from the guest bedroom I'd started using. It unsettled me from day one. Not because it was old, but because it felt wrong. Like it was aware. I started avoiding it early on. I'd catch myself glancing toward it at night, when the house was quiet and I couldn't hear anything except the distant ticking of the grandfather clock in the parlor. More than once, I thought I saw movement in the glass, like a shadow shifting behind me, but when I turned around, the hallway was empty. Then came the first whisper. I woke up around 3 in the morning drenched in sweat. There was this sharp pressure behind my eyes, like my skull was swelling, and then I heard it, soft and low, but clear as day. A voice, rasping right beside my ear. Look. In. The mirror. I shot up, heart pounding. The hallway beyond my door was pitch black, except for a faint silvery shimmer coming from the mirror. Like it was glowing. I didn't move. I just sat there, frozen in bed, staring at the darkness, listening. Nothing else happened that night. But the next morning, when I passed the mirror on the way to the bathroom, I swore my reflection turned its head a second after I did. And then it smiled. I wasn't smiling. At first, I blamed exhaustion. The stress of inheriting a house, moving, dealing with old family secrets. I even started recording voice memos, trying to explain what I was experiencing so I could listen back and hear how crazy I sounded. But as the days passed, the events became harder to ignore. The lights in the hallway began flickering every night at 3:07 a.m. I didn't realize the exact time until it happened 3 nights in a row. Always 3:07. The exact time I'd woken to that whisper. The lights would buzz, flicker violently, then go out. And when I'd look toward the mirror, there it was again, that shimmer. That breathing glow, as if something on the other side was waiting to come through. So I covered it. I draped a blanket over the glass and propped a chair in front of it. But the next morning, the blanket was on the floor, and the chair had been turned around, now facing the mirror directly, like someone had sat there all night watching themselves. It got worse. I started hearing sounds, scratching from inside the mirror, like nails dragging across the glass. I even started finding faint handprints on the surface. Not mine. They were too long, too narrow. They looked like they belonged to something that didn't quite understand human anatomy. Then came the dreams. I was standing in a vast, black room. The mirror was there, floating in the void. I approached it, and in the reflection, I saw myself, but my eyes were missing. Just black pits. And a mouth that stretched open slowly, too wide, too long, like it was unhinging. And then it would whisper, "Let me in." That line became constant. In dreams, in the house, in reflections, always that voice, "Let me in." I researched everything I could find about haunted mirrors, mirror folklore, and the concept of mirror walkers. I found stories from other cultures warning that mirrors can act as portals. Some said spirits become trapped inside. Others warned of beings, demons, that can only reach us through reflection, feeding on identity and sanity until they can cross over. I laughed at first, until I stopped sleeping. One night, I caught myself standing in front of the mirror with my eyes closed, whispering in a voice I didn't recognize. My fingernails were cracked and bloody. I had no memory of how I got there. I decided to destroy it. I dragged the mirror out into the backyard, smashed it with a sledgehammer, and nothing happened. Not a scratch. Not even a crack. So I tried fire. I soaked the frame in lighter fluid and dropped a match. The flames erupted. For a moment, I thought I had succeeded, until the mirror began to scream. Not the glass. The thing inside. A deep, echoing wail burst from the surface. My ears rang. My nose started bleeding. I dropped to my knees, clutching my head. The fire vanished instantly, sucked into the mirror like it had been inhaled. The frame blackened but didn't burn. And when I opened my eyes, it was gone. But the next morning, it was back in the hallway. No scorch marks. No damage. Exactly where it had been. That was the moment I truly realized I was dealing with something beyond explanation. I started seeing the figure more often now. Not just in the hallway mirror, but in anything that reflected, windows, puddles, my phone screen. One night, while brushing my teeth, I looked up and saw it standing behind me. Pale, hairless, with black, hollow eyes and a smile that stretched impossibly wide. I turned. Nothing. But when I looked back at the mirror, it was still there, smiling. Then it waved. That night, it stepped out. I was lying in bed, paralyzed by sleep or fear, I don't know. The room was cold. Unnaturally cold. The kind of cold that sinks into your spine. I heard the whisper again. So close it tickled my eardrum. "Daniel." I opened my eyes and saw the mirror rippling, like water. A shape began pressing outward, first a face, then hands, then a full silhouette. It stepped through. And where it touched the floor, ash bloomed beneath its feet. I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. It stood at the end of my bed, watching. And then it said, "We're almost the same now." I woke up with scratches across my chest. That was the breaking point. I reached out to Marcus, a demonologist I found through a friend who had dealt with similar hauntings. The moment he entered the house, he froze. "You're in danger," he said. "That's not a ghost. That's a demon. A mirror walker. It mimics and replaces. Once it fully understands you, it can become you." He explained that the demon had been tethered to the mirror for years, likely something my grandfather knew about, maybe even summoned. If it had taken my reflection, then my soul was next. We prepared for a ritual. We needed to trap it between worlds. Salt, Latin indications, a shard of the mirror's original frame. The ritual had to begin at 3:07 a.m. We drew a circle around me in the hallway, facing the mirror. Marcus began chanting. The air grew heavy. The walls creaked. The mirror fogged, and then the demon appeared, perfectly mimicking me. Same clothes. Same eyes. Same scars. But its grin never left its face. You're already mine, it said. You just haven't accepted it. Marcus kept chanting. I held the shard tight. The demon lunged, hitting the salt barrier. It howled, its voice no longer human, but layered, like 1,000 insects screaming at once. The mirror cracked. I pressed the shard to the surface. The glass hissed and began to melt. Black liquid, thick and hot, poured out from the frame. The demon screamed louder. The house shook. Marcus shouted something in a language I didn't recognize. And then I stabbed the shard directly into the demon's chest. The glass exploded inward. The demon was sucked back, clawing at the air. Its mouth unhinged, eyes boiling, body twisting as it was dragged into the void. A sound like 1,000 mirrors shattering filled the hall. And then, silence. Just me, Marcus, and the broken frame. It was over. At least, I thought it was. We burned the remains, cleansed the house, salted every window. I sold the place and moved across the country. No mirrors in my new apartment. But sometimes, when I walk past a window at night, I see myself smiling. When I'm not. And just once, in a dark hallway reflection, I saw it again. And it whispered, "Let me in."